So let's go over the concept of contingency reserves and management reserves. Assume you have a task. That task should have a contingency. For it. That contingency is different from the work package contingency at a higher level for work package cost estimates. Now, this all forms a control account. The control accounts, when added up, make up what we would call the cost baseline. And on top of that cost baseline, we have a management reserve, which is different from the work package contingency reserve and the other contingency reserve at the task level. Now, one of the things that is very different about the management reserve is you need permission from management to use it for unknowns. These are used for knowns. The contingencies at this level here, these are used for knowns, right? And by that, I mean known risks, things we have identified. But this right here is for unknowns, okay? You cannot use the management reserve except with permission. So the summary of this is your budget is the combination of the management reserve plus the cost baseline. We call that the budget. So this is really your budget. That's the total amount that has been allocated to this project by virtue of the baseline and management reserve. Earned value is calculated using baseline values. We do not use the budget, we use the baseline, okay, for earned value computations and such. Now, let's talk about the concept of moving money from management reserves into the cost baseline. Anytime there is a change in the project requested from a cost perspective to use part of the management reserves, these management reserves on request will be moved into the cost baseline with permission. If there is no permission, you cannot move it. But when there is permission, you can move some of that. So let's say you moved 2 million. That 2 million you moved gets put into the cost baseline. So the management reserve depletes by 2 million, but the baseline increases by 2 million. And that 2 million is used from that point go forward for earned value computations. And whenever you look at a graph where there has been replanning or there has been an approval for additional monies, it is very obvious. You see a change in those graphs. You can tell what has happened at those points. And that is the summary of the difference between management reserves for unknowns, okay, versus contingency reserves, which are for known risks. And let me just correct this. When we talk about management reserves for unknowns, unknowns are not risks, because risks are what we know could happen within a particular band of possibilities, or what we guess could happen. We see those coming, right? Uncertainty. But an unknown is not uncertainty, it is reality. So it's important when we talk about unknowns, we know we're talking about this, not this, right? Contingency reserves, those are for knowns, known risks, Management reserves, these are for unknown events. So when those unknown events finally do happen, they are not risks. They are events that have materialized. I hope this helps you as you study Chapter 7. All the very best. Bye for now.